Sunday, May the 18th, I think, or 17th. I think it's the 18th. Anyway, whatever day it is, middle of May, Sunday in 2025. And just wanted to point out that earlier today, Israel time, it was like, I think of like 2 in the morning Israel time, something like that. So around 1 o'clock Swiss time, which is when, I think 1 o'clock Swiss time, when the event final happened, the tallying of the votes and all that. In Basel, Switzerland, there was this contest called Eurovision. It's like a music contest. And there's basically a whole bunch of countries, ostensibly European countries or countries that have some kind of special relationship with Europe, or are part of Europe in some way, either through like an economic cooperation partnership, or I think even Australia is part of it. So I don't know how that works, but whatever. There's countries from around the world who take part, mostly from Europe. They do it once a year. And Israel takes part in it too, because Israel's been in the Eurovision contest since, its very early days, because Israel had its television system set up by European standards, and even, what's his name, I think Stuart Hood of the BBC helped set up the television system, the legacy television system in Israel. So Israel is considered part of the whole European broadcasting. Also, they're a member of the European Broadcasting Agency or something like that. And so their standards are similar. Anyway, so Israel takes part in that contest every year. And there this year, the Israeli singer was a young woman named Yuval Raphael, who Yuval Raphael was a survivor of the October 7th, 2023 attacks launched by Hamas and the PIJ and all those terrorist groups and individuals who streamed out of Gaza and literally live streamed on their GoPro cameras all the horrible things they were doing. And she was one of the people at the Nova Music Festival and survived the attack after hiding underneath of dead bodies, because her dad, when she called her dad to tell him that she had been hurt and she was in a bomb shelter together with a bunch of people, and she asked him what should she do, and he told her to play dead. And that's exactly what she did. She played dead underneath piles of dead bodies, literally. Which, if you know anything about Jewish history, and not so long ago Jewish history, like during the Holocaust, you'll know that there are in fact people who survived the Holocaust that way too. When the Nazis would line up people and shoot them into pits, which they did frequently. Some people would hide under the dead bodies, and in order to not be seen, and the Nazis would go around shooting the bodies to make sure they were dead. And the ones that they saw that they thought were already gone, they wouldn't waste a bullet on, kind of thing. But the ones that they saw moving, they would shoot again. And the Hamas did the exact same thing, and they would throw grenades into the bomb shelter where she was hiding. It was quite awful. Anyway, so this young woman, Yuval Raphael, who, among other people, survived that horrible attack, recovered from her injuries after she was rescued 8 hours into the ordeal. And after she recovered, she decided to apparently change her life and focus on the music and pursue her dreams, chase her dreams, as it were. One of her dreams was to be a singer, apparently. So she entered some music contest, and apparently she won that, and therefore was selected, was chosen as the person to represent the country in this year's Eurovision contest. There's like this whole, I forget the name of the show, but there's one of these shows where people go on and sing, and week after week, eventually they pick a winner. So she won that. And then there's a songwriter named Karen Pellis, I think is her name, and she wrote this song for Miss Raphael to sing, and it's called like "A New Day Will Rise" or something like that. You can look it up on YouTube. I'm sure they have it. Anyway, so she went on to you know practice that song, rehearse that song, and perform it in Israel before the contest happened on Israeli TV. And then given the reception that it received by the people who heard it, that became the entry for the song contest at the Eurovision. And she went to the Eurovision contest, which was held in Basel, Switzerland this year, because every year they host the event in the home country, or in the country that the last year's winner is from. So last year's winner apparently was from Switzerland, so this year they hosted the event in Switzerland. And whoever wins this year, next year it'll be hosted in their country. And right, so it's like that every year. So Israel has won the Eurovision contest, I think at least 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times, which is kind of impressive for a tiny little country that is, participating in a contest that is, a contest that is in many, many ways politically charged. And when I say that, I mean, for example, with Miss Raphael's presence in the contest, there were actually people in Switzerland, in Basel, Switzerland, is normally a very sleepy little town, basically, in Switzerland. Relatively sleepy little town, I mean, it's Switzerland. It's all relatively sleepy. And there were protesters, people out there in the middle of Switzerland protesting her and her presence because of Israel's participation, because of Israel's participating in Eurovision while it's fighting a war against terrorists. Literally, they're out there protesting against an Israeli young woman whose ambition is to sing a song, which is not a political song. You can interpret songs any way you like, but if you just listen to the lyrics, it's not particularly political at all. It's just a song of hope kind of thing. And it's a song of, like, I guess love and hope or whatever. And a typical kind of cheesy pop song. And, has all the dramatic bells and whistles that is necessary to make a good, catchy tune, apparently, because she went on to actually win the popular vote. There's 2 votes. Each country has like a quote-unquote jury that they vote with, where they get to assign a number of points according to their country's jury, and that counts for like half the vote. And then the other half of the voting comes from the so-called popular vote, where people literally, dial in, like on American Idol or whatever, that kind of thing, and they vote for who they want to. And you can't vote for your own country. Right? You have to vote for another country's singer, song, whatever. So that way, it's like, no, you can't just bias your own country, because otherwise, obviously, the largest country would always have a lot of votes by default, right? So, yeah. So out of all I mean, given the highly politically charged context and all the protests and everything else that were happening, to be honest, I think, people that watch that kind of thing, and there are people who watch these things like avidly. They have like parties and they, get together, and it's a thing across Europe, and in Israel it's definitely a thing with certain people. There were news articles about it and everything else, like, wishing her luck, but realizing yeah, there's, she's probably not going to win because, there's a lot of anti-Israeli feeling in the general public, etc. And the funny thing is, she did okay with the jury vote apparently, but she wasn't like among the top people. But by popular vote, apparently she crushed like even the nearest competitor by like a lot. She got like 30 or 40% more than the next nearest artist in terms of, which means that the jury, if anything, had this sort of anti-Israel bias, and the people did not. Right? And remember, Israelis could not vote for their own singer, so all the votes for her came from other countries, which means that the popular vote actually came from the people across Europe, and they voted for her song, which is it just recognizes, in their opinion of the music. So it's not a political vote or anything, hopefully. But does it send a political message? I'll tell you what. Every year there's people who analyze this and will tell you their opinions of what it means politically and all that. All I can tell you is a young Israeli woman who survived a horrible attack turned her dreams into ambition, pursued her dreams, and won the popular vote of a very big contest seen by hundreds of millions of people around the world. And she didn't win the overall, but she got second place overall, which is an extremely impressive achievement considering there's like, I don't know, 30, 40 countries participating. So even if you don't win, if you're in the top, 5 spots or something, that's really, impressive in that sort of venue. And when there's all this attention on you for not good reasons, because of political stuff, and because of, news stuff, that people are protesting you, and there literally were like violent protesters and stuff that showed up to protest her being there, which is just ridiculous. I'm from India. Where am I from? I'm in Israel right now. I'm American and French, but I'm in Israel. At the moment, that's where I spend my time these days. Right now. For now, anyway. I can always, travel back and forth to the States or wherever, whenever necessary. But hold on one second. I wonder if I can do this. Will this work? Guys, give me 1 second here. I'm trying to do something here. Hang on. Oh yeah, this should really be great. If this works, it'll be great. Let's see. Hang on. First of all, can I get that to work? Can that work? Can I get that to work? Let's see. Try it again from this angle. If you're wondering what I'm doing, if you know, you know. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second here. Still here. Yeah. So this is a very impressive feat for somebody. This is a very impressive feat for somebody in such a politically charged, um, to still perform very well and to actually win the vote of the people that actually bother to pay to vote, right? Because they have to pay like whatever it is, €1 or something like that to vote. So, yeah, I mean, look, from my point of view, it's like, yeah, whatever. It's just another, silly pop music contest. But from the point of view of, things that are pretty impressive to have happened, it's pretty cool that Israel managed to win the overall popular vote for their song, and that the singer happens to be this young woman who again, survived this horrible, horrible event and still managed to come out, okay, and take second place in a contest where, there are dozens of competitors fiercely attempting to win. And of course, there can only be one actual overall winner. But there's one winner of the jury vote and there's one winner of the popular vote. They're the same group. If it's like, the group that does particularly well and gets both of those votes. This year it was split. The overall winner, because he won more votes by the jury, the overall winner was this young lad from Austria, apparently. So congratulations to him. And, no easy feat. He won the jury vote, and he, I guess, did well enough with the popular vote to it's a win. But he was, they do the jury voting first. They show the jury voting first, apparently, and they were showing him as the leader the whole time, whatever. And the Israeli lady wasn't even kind of really in the running for the jury vote. She was like somewhere in the middle of the pack, apparently. And so they didn't really cover her very much during the tallying of the votes period, apparently. And then out of nowhere, apparently she got like the popular vote. Not out of nowhere. I mean, obviously people wanted her to win. But she got that vote and won it. And and ended up in second place overall, which again, yes, it's a cheesy music contest. Yes, I get it. But it's still impressive for Israel to do well in such a contest, especially when there is so much politics surrounding Israel's presence in any event, in any international event. So, anyway, that's going to do it for now. And I know it's a completely different topic than I normally talk about. And it's about like pop culture, which is really not my bag. But, it's a minor observation of the state of affairs and the surprising reality. It's a nice surprise, which is that Europeans generally aren't just going to, not vote for somebody just because they happen to be Israeli in terms of like a popular music contest. So kudos to the Israeli team and the Israeli singer for doing as well as they did. And and to the winner, of course, congratulations. But yeah, kudos, congratulations. Cheers. Shalom.